Top Tenors presents Israel Palestine, a conflict unraveled. What led to the devastating events of October 7, 2023, and the subsequent reprisal attacks and humanitarian crisis in Gaza? To find out, we're taking a step back to explore the 10 essential facts about the Israel-Palestine conflict that will help you grasp the nuances of this complex issue. The conflict began over a century ago, with the Zionist movement seeking a Jewish homeland in Palestine, which was then under Ottoman rule, where an Arab majority and Jewish minority coexisted. The British took control of the region after World War I, and in 1917, issued the Balfour Declaration, promising a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This move sparked outrage among the Arab population, who had been the majority in the region for centuries, and felt their rights and claims were being disregarded. Tensions escalated as Jewish migration to Palestine increased in the 1920s to 1940s, as they fled persecution in Europe. By 1947, the Jewish population had grown to 630,000, over 30% of the total population. With violence between Arabs and Jews intensifying, Britain turned to the United Nations for a solution. In 1947, the UN proposed partitioning Palestine into Jewish and Arab state with Jerusalem under international administration. Although the plan wasn't legally binding, it sparked intense debate and discussion. Britain, which had been governing Palestine, announced its intention to withdraw its forces by May 1948, leaving the implementation of the plan uncertain. With Arab states and Palestinian leaders rejecting the plan, arguing it unfairly gave the Jews more of the land, the stage was set for conflict. The lack of a clear enforcement mechanism and the impending British withdrawal created a power vacuum, setting the scene for the complex and ongoing conflict that would unfold. As the British mandate drew to a close, Jewish leaders declared Israel's independence on May 14, 1948, citing the UN partition plan and the need for self-determination. However, due to lack of a comprehensive peace agreement, which some argue was necessary for legitimacy, and the fact that the declaration didn't specify borders, 5 Arab nations responded the next day, launching a coordinated attack on the new state of Israel, sparking a war that would reshape the region. By 1949, the war had ended with Israel in control of most of the territory, and under a truce agreement, Egypt took control of Gaza, and Jordan annexed the West Bank and East Jerusalem. The war had a devastating impact on the Palestinian population, with hundreds of thousands forced to flee or expelled from their homes on land, which became Israel in what Palestinians call the Nakba, or catastrophe. Nearly 2 decades later, tensions between Israel and its neighbors escalated, culminating in the 1967 Six-Day War. Israel launched preemptive strikes against Egypt and Syria, capturing the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Sinai Peninsula, and Golan Heights. Today, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza remain at the heart of the Israel-Palestine conflict, with Palestinians seeking these territories as part of a future state, a position supported by the international community. The West Bank is one of the occupied Palestinian territories. It is a land with deep historical significance and is home to approximately 3 million Palestinians. Since the 1967 war, Israel has maintained control over the territory, while Palestinians claim it as part of their future state. Around 700,000 Israeli settlers have established communities in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, sparking controversy and debate. Palestinians advocate for the removal of these settlements, while Israel asserts its historical and security ties to the region. In July 2024, the International Court of Justice ruled that Israel's presence in the occupied territories is contrary to international law. As the conflict continues, both Israelis and Palestinians assert competing claims to the land, fueling a complex and deeply entrenched dispute. Gaza is a tiny, densely populated territory sandwiched between Israel, Egypt, and the Mediterranean Sea. With a complex history dating back to ancient times, Gaza was under Egyptian control after the 1948 Arab-Israeli War and under Israeli occupation after the 1967 Six-Day War. Israel built settlements and maintained a military presence there until 2005, when it unilaterally withdrew its troops and settlers. However, Israel still exercises significant control over Gaza's borders, airspace, and shoreline, leading the UN to consider Gaza under Israeli occupation. In 2006, Hamas won the Palestinian legislative elections, but a violent power struggle with Fatah, the opposition party, led to Hamas taking control of Gaza. Israel and Egypt responded by imposing a blockade, restricting the flow of goods and people in and out of Gaza, citing security concerns. Since then, Gaza has witnessed repeated cycles of violence and conflict between Hamas and Israel, resulting in significant loss of life and humanitarian crises. Decades of escalating violence and militarization have plunged the region into chaos. Israeli military operations in Gaza and Palestinian rocket attacks on Israel have become a deadly cycle, while the Israeli occupation and blockade of Gaza have crippled the economy and humanitarian situation. Meanwhile, Israeli settler violence against Palestinians and the imprisonment of Palestinian prisoners have further inflamed tensions. This volatile mix of factors has repeatedly sparked devastating conflicts between Hamas and Israel, ultimately culminating in the horrific October 7, 2023, attack on Israel and the ensuing reprisal attacks on Gaza, which have exacted a terrible humanitarian toll. As the Israeli-Palestinian conflict continues to unfold, understanding its rich history is key to grasping the complexities that have made it one of the world's most intractable disputes. The past informs the present, and the future will be shaped by the actions we take today. We hope this exploration has shed light on the deep-seated issues at play. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, ask questions, and stay engaged with us for more insights into this pivotal issue.